This computer is being recorded. All right, you should see this screen. If not, let me know. Okay, let's look at the homework for lesson 9. Question 1, write one line, hello world, to file hello.txt. So it's about create a file and write a line to it. So let's see. I'm going to use a new editor. In case you are interested, it's called Visual Studio Code. It's a free editor, the text editor, but it's just for various programming languages. So I believe most of the professional software developers use code to write a program. It has a number of features, colored, the line numbered, and many features that a notepad or VI or TextPad or Microsoft Word. No other editors can beat this editor. This is a very professional editor. It's fun to use. So let's try the homework 9 questions. So in the code, I open a directory. This directory points to the where's my terminal session here? Maybe I should move this up a little bit and move this down a little bit. So it point to this folder where I stored all the exercise Python programs. So I open this folder in this editor. So you see that Python blah blah exercises. So a point here. So if I come here, add a new file, I call the homework 9.python, hit return. Now it knows I'm writing a Python program. So remember to handle files, first we need to import os.sys, right? And then just open a file. Let's see, pick a variable, call a file, and open. See, this is the feature of the code. When you type open, it knows it is a Python open, and there's a pop-up remind like first you need to enter a file name, and then there's a mode and different mode. Like remember we learned R. That's for read. I didn't see any other mode. It should, but we are going to just add a name called hello.txt. Oops, txt, and a comma, and a mode instead of see it lists all the mode. We are going to just use W, and that's it. That's what we need. And write a line. File variable write parentheses, it starts say, okay, put a string. So we are going to put the hello world string. And that's it. Well, remember, when we are done, when we open a file, we should close the file. No variable. No. So this is a program. I'm going to hit Control S to save it. Now it is saved. Now come back to this terminal session. We list. See if our file is listed here. Yep. Homework 9, that's the file we just created. We are going to type Python homework tab, hit return. Errors. No module name called OS. It's not a package. Okay, I guess I remember something wrong. Let me go back to the example. So, oh, we don't need that. We don't need that OS. I thought we need. I don't need. Where do we need that? Oh, OS import sys, that's for the command line thing, not for the write files. So okay, so I remember something incorrectly. So instead of VI, I can VI here. So that's VI, that's the Mac editor. I can edit that, delete that, and save it. So I'm going to no. And then come here. This is the text editor. We just delete that line. See, actually, they put the yellow curly braces, basically say, what are you talking about? I don't know that. So that's a complaint. Just delete it and save it. And now come back to run again. Yeah, no error. So you can see that it create a file here, hello.txt. Oh, here we just list. We have this hello.txt. So I'm going to use a cat to list the show the content. Yeah, the content is hello world. Again, this text and my command prompt show up on the same line as because I don't have a new line breaker. So if I add a \n, remember that, save it, and I run it again. Now, the file is recreated, the output file, hello text. So I'm going to show that again. Now we got a separate line. So that's the thing. So that's the editor. The next one is append one line. Put something your name like I am Xinjiang Guo or something like to hello text. So again, we come back here. Remember, this is append. We use the A to open the file, to add a line, and then hello world, I am Mr. Guo, and save it. And instead of recreating the file, this time we are going to just add a line to the file. Let's run it again. Now, clear the screen at me. I'll see the content. Yeah, that's the line we added. Okay, that's the second one. Delete the file. Okay, delete the file. We're going to I forgot the syntax. I think we open that. No, we don't open it. Do we open it? Is that a D? I don't even remember. And I know it's a remove and a no string there. Since and that. And let's see if that's the thing we need. Delete file. Delete the file. Oh, now we need to import the OS. Interesting. So we need to import OS. We need to ask, get the permission from the operating system. Can we delete a file? So do we open it? No, we don't open it. So see, the syntax is totally wrong. Just Oh, what happened? Did I do? No, I'm okay. I'm okay. So delete it. And instead of open the file and create a variable, just call the package, the module OS, and ask OS to delete a file called hello.txt. And since we didn't open the file, so we need it to close. So just import the OS module and then call the OS method remove and then enter the file name directly. That's all we need. So I'm going to save it. And we have this hello world. We want to delete it. Now if we run the code, that hello.txt should be deleted. Now if we list, yeah, that file is gone. That's how to delete a file. I heard, see, good. That's homework. And the answer is basically here. Yep. Yeah, well, the answer here is got a mod check. If the file is there, remove it not, get an error. This is more, professional. And this is like, yeah, this is just too simple, but it works. On the other hand, since the file is gone, this version, if you run again, since we don't have the file, you get an error, right? Well, this version won't. It will just print out, hey, the file doesn't exist. This is more graceful. And this one is like throwing error. It's not good idea to let a program throw errors. Okay, now let's move on to lesson 10. It's going to be the last lesson of this class, session 2. So in lesson 10, we are going to learn something new. It's called string formatting. It's related to the when you print something out and print a string, and the string contains something, some subtext or some values you do not know or you cannot control. I will demo what I mean by that. So do some string formatting is helpful. And after that, we will do a project, the last project of this class, that uses all we have learned and see if we can create a interesting project. Okay, let's start with string formatting. By definitions, we can use the string method format called as format to format some selected parts of a string. The selected parts in a string are some text from either calculation or user input or databases, some like dynamic values you do not know when you print something. So we should leave those like a variable in the print statement. One example here is, let's see, we take a user input. Remember the input function that take a user input from command line? You save the input into a variable called a product. So it said enter product name or produce name, whatever. And basically it looks like in a store, you pick up some item and you give it a name, apple juice, milk, or whatever, and you enter the price. That's a second user input. And then you can print out things like the price of such product is the price value in dollars. That's a traditional print statement. Or you can do something using those two lines. So you define a string, double quoted, and assign that string to a variable called a txt. And inside this static string, there are a couple curly braces paired. Those two things represent something like you want to plug in later when you print. So this is like a placeholder. You need a tool because you want to, when you print something, you want to plug in the product variable, the value of product, to the first curly braces, the first pair, and plug in the second variable called a price in the second pair of curly braces. So you can see this is called a formatting. The text is, this variable is object, and any object can have a method called a format. So you assign this value to the text, the string object, and then when you print this thing, you do a formatting called the method of the string object, and a plugin replace those two pairs of curly braces with two variables that contain values. So those two lines will print out exactly as the last line print. Okay, let's see that's the case. I can save that, copy, and here I'm going to add a new file here. Click here called add a new file. Click this new file. Give it a name. Why don't we call it a not homework? How about we call it a lesson 10, example 1.python. The file name itself can be anything, but the format or the extension called .py is critical. That's the indicator of what kind of computer programming the file is. So now the editor knows we are typing a Python program. So we just copy in, paste in the thing. Remember, we don't want to have the leading spaces. So let me add an empty line so we can see them nicely. You can even do that actually if you really care about the visual effect. So I'm going to save it. Now come back here, do a listing. We have this file here created, and a Python lesson 10, example 1. So enter product name, let's see, how about the Apple? Enter price, let's see, $2 and 1 cent. How much is $2? 1 cent, sorry. And yeah, we print twice. We just want to compare the two methods of printing. So the one is this one using string formatting, and the second one just the traditional, just the string concatenation method. So the effect is exactly the same. Only one thing here is that $2.10 is not the usual way of showing prices we normally expect. We expect something like a $2.10. So that 0 is kind of significant, all right? So let's see if we can make a 2.10. Okay, that's going to be in the second example. We just want to format the price better. So format the numbers. So that is the same thing, 2 input. And now the only difference is in the second curly braces. instead of just empty as a placeholder for price, we add something in middle of the curly braces, colon dot to F. So it means as a float, keep 2 decimals after the decimal point. The colon is just like indication of formatting. So yeah, we are not going to go too deep to find out the exact meaning, but it's kind of colon dot to F will format the number, the float number, and keep only 2 decimal digits. The rest is the same. So we are going to actually modify this program, add a colon dot to F. Instead of save it, because that will save the second example to the first example file, I'm going to see if there's a feature called a save as. Let me see. Save as. So I have the chance to pick a name. So I'm going to, this is example 2. Save the file. Now, so this is E2. So if we come here, this screen, we should have the E2. No, so the E1 is not overwritten or changed. So now we have E2. So let's run the E2 instead of 1. Again, Apple, $2.10. And here return. Now we got interesting error. Oh, non-format code error for object of type of string. So the error is, what it's saying is, hey, you put a formatting here called keep 2 decimal digits. I'm expecting the price is a float, but the user input is always a string. So you have a string called 2.1. You want me to format it as a number? No, I refuse. That's what the code is complaining about. So what we need to fix is, before we pass this price as a string to it, we want to convert the string to a float number. So we call a function called a float. Now we pass a float number to it, so it won't complain. This won't be doesn't need change because the print just take a strings. It is string add string. That's what it expects. But in here, because this formatting thing, the formatting require a float number, so we need to give it a float. So we have to convert a string price to a float number. Let's see what happened. Save it. And I'm going to run again. Apple 2.1. Bingo. Now it worked. So this is from the middle 2 lines. It printed $2.10, while the traditional string printing line or statement just print the price as a string, as what we entered. So it doesn't do the formatting. So that's why this is why string formatting is useful. Okay, good. Let's move on to the project. So in this project, this is the last project, we are going to read the long information as a command line arguments and do calculation, and then save both the input values, the long parameters, and the output. Remember the monthly payment to a file. So remember in project one, yeah, project one, we just hard code the long input parameters. We call do we call function? No, we don't even call function. We just, yeah, plug in the number into a formula, calculate the monthly payment, and then print out. That's project one. And then project two, we create a function. We define a new function which takes the 3 parameters. And then when, for a specific loan, we just call this function with the 3 parameters. That's project two. So in project three, we need to do extra. First, we need to, instead of hard code the long values, we read those 3 parameters from the command. That's called a command line arguments. We learned in lesson 8. Yeah, lesson 8. So we call it step 1, read command line arguments. So why don't we do this exercise again? Add a new file. We call it. How about just call a project 3 step 1 .python. And so to read the command arguments, first we need to import the sys module and the arguments, the number of arguments. Oh no, the argument list. We can save the arguments list into a variable called arguments. Then we refer to this sys argv. This is a variable of the sys module. So you can see that a module can have both methods and variables. And this argv is a variable. It's actually of type list to list all the command line arguments. So we capture that. And of course, we do some checking. So let's say length is the number of the items in a list. So we'll say arguments list, and the length of it is how many arguments are you entering? We verified we need a 5. So if you pass, give me 5, I assume the first one is the amount, the loan amount. We call it the principal. Basically, how much you borrow. Borrow 30,000, 20,000, and let me show up that thingy. The first one we call it argument. Remember the index. Index first one is 1. The very first one is 0. That's the program itself. So we don't care about the 0. We start with a 1. That's the first parameter. That's the amount. And then the rate. That's going to be argument 2. And the months, the duration or the terms, we call it also. Arguments, I hit return number 3. That's the third one. And the first one, we're going to give it a file name, a file that can store the output. So why don't we call it here, output file. I call it O file, arguments number 4. Okay. All right. And of course, If we have them, we want to print them out. So we know we capture, want to see the value entered. So print, the first one is enter something, a text called long amount, we plus the amount, right? That's a long amount. Second one, print, oops, how about long read, plus read, right? Print, I'm gonna call it a term. I think Moses. And then we also want to print out the file name. The output a file called an O file, right? So that's when we pass all 4 arguments. Else, if you don't pass enough, then print out some kind of message, right? To remind yourself, hey, you're using the command wrong. Here's the usage. Something like a Python, this project 3.1.python, and pass some parameters, amount, read, term, file name, something like that. So as a reminder, you can even give an example, print Python project 3.1.py, say the amount 30,000, rate 6%, 3 years, that's 36 months. Get a file called a long 30,000, 30,000, 6%, 36 months file of that. That's output file, those 3 parameters all together 4, else set. So now let's say, now just save it. And let's run. Clear the screen. So Python project 3, if we don't enter any parameter, you get usually the usage. That's because we, didn't pass any argument. So argument, the length of argument actually is 5. That's not equal to 5. That jump to the else. The else, it just print out the how to use it, run the program correctly. So it says do that. So if you just say enter, part of the arguments, you still get the same until you enter all 5 of them. Say 6, 36. So you still, get the usage message, and let's add the final one. Bingo. So now it's a 5. It starts, okay, you enter the long amount, you read the term and the output. So that's it. It just print out that it's not, it doesn't do the calculation. It does not save to file. So, but that's just step 1. So that's just step 1, okay? Now let's do this step 2. Step 2 actually is the same project. Of course, we now just need to define the monthly pay function and call the function to make the calculation. So all the program the same. This is all the command line thingy. What we need is to add a function and then call the function and print out the monthly payment. Okay. So let's do that. We are going to just add that. So just to call function, you have to define the function first. Define the monthly payment, and that take the 3 parameters. This time I'm going to make the lazy and just amount, rate, and term. 3 parameters. Well, the more user-friendly version is in the slides, but I'm going to use the short names to save time. So that's the same thing. Sometimes we'll write a quick program, test some idea. You can start with like some names you only yourself know, and that drive other programs crazy when they read your program, but it's okay. And when you're done with testing, you can change the names to longer names that so the other programs can read easily. But this is to the computer doesn't care. Long name, short name, computer doesn't care. So define this function. Do we need a colon? Oh yeah, we do. We need a colon, and otherwise it's error. And we just do the calculation. First is to convert the annual rate to monthly rate. So fine. We call the monthly rate equal to the annual rate divided by 12. Isn't that easy? Okay, another calculation as just the monthly payment. Okay, I'm going to call it a monthly payment, MP, equal to, yeah, that's long. I'm going to just copy the whole thing if I can. Now we have to say the principal amount, we call it A, monthly rate, that's MR, monthly rate, that's still MR, long duration, that's term, which is T, monthly rate, and the term, that's T. Okay, now, well, the formula is much shorter. That's fine. So that's a function. Oh, yeah. We do the calculation, we need to return. We return the MP, but before we return it, oh, not that. We want to run it up. Yeah, why don't we not just, yeah, don't do the run up. We just return the monthly payment. Okay, we have the function. Now let's make a call. Now it's not a monthly payment equal to, oh, the function is monthly payment. Yeah, it's okay to use the variable also as same as a function name, but that's sometimes it's confusing. Why don't we just call the M payment or to stand for monthly payment, and then just call the function. And now we cannot just use the ART. We have to use the one we save the input values here on top. So the A, for the amount we want to pass, amount, and rate, and amounts. That will do it. So we call it, and then we print out. Print monthly payment. The traditional way, just add concatenate the string. So we call it M payment. Yeah, so this is project 2 or step 2. So the argument is the same. We just need add the function definition and the call of the function and print out the result. I'm going to again use the save as project 3 and step 2. Yep, now I have the file. Now I'm going to run this program. Yeah, it's the same thing, but it's step 2. So call it step 2, argument is the same. Got an error, that's fine. Why we got error? Let me check. Read, annual read. What's this complaining about? Oh, again, operate a string or int. So it's complaining about, okay, you want to do a math on the read, but the rate we entered is actually a string. You cannot do math on string. So why don't we say again, remember, convert the string to a float number, and that the amount that's used as integer, but so far it's just a string, so we want to convert to integer. Well, you can have float amount. So like you borrow 30,000 and 50 cents, who knows? Normally people borrow money by the, no, not sub-zero, but let's make sure. So convert that to flow as well. So months and months. Months is obviously normally the whole month. So we want to convert that to integer. You just call set int, int stands for integer. That's good. File name, that's string, so we don't need to convert. So now if we save it and run it, let me clear the screen. Still complaining, fine. Let me see what is complaining about. Oh, the long amount string, not O. Now we convert the long amount to float, and the traditional print only take string, not a number. So it's complaining about that. So what we need to do is use our magic string formatting. So let's do that. So the regular print doesn't do good. So we can say use the curly braces. You don't need to separate a string to hold it. Just say put that into curly braces, and don't forget the quote. And then at the beginning, you have to inform the string that, hey, I'm doing string formatting. So put an F at the beginning outside the quote to use this string formatting. So again, F at the beginning, F at the beginning, not for file names. Then long read, again, we put inside the curly braces. Oh boy, what was that? So annoying. Curly braces. Am I running out of time? Oh boy. Yeah, bear with me. Take a little longer time. Do that. So do this string formatting thing and save it and run it. Still complaining? Oh, this complaining about the payment. About the payment. Now the payment is a float. So again, we have to do the same thing. String formatting. Put it inside curly braces. And close it. Yeah. Save it. There shouldn't be any error, bingo. So we have some printouts. Of course, you can see that with our formatting, the monthly payment can have more many digits after that. So we need is for the payment, we probably need a string text equal to that, and remember that formatting the $2F as paired, and what do we need here is the string format method. That, no, that. Save it. And let's see what we got. Yeah, now it's better. So now 62 cents. Let's run it up. So far, this is just a print out as a screen. Okay, that's step 2. Let's quickly do a step 3. So I don't want to keep you too long. So we got step 1, step 2. Now step 3 is to save the thing to a file. Okay, for step 2, we need to open a file. Okay, let's open a file quickly. I'm going to just open a file quickly and do that after the function definition, open a file. I use the O file instead of output file name. So O file for output, and let's see, right? Yep. Save the input, output, everything out. I'm not going to save the amount input. I'm just save the final monthly payment to it. So we did the calculation and then save it. And after they save it, we close the file. Oh, O file to O file. Hope that's okay. So this O file is the input string, and this is the file object. Hope that's okay. Let's just do that. For write calculation. This is called a monthly payment. Save it. I saved it to the 2. Oh well, too bad. I just saved it to the same file. Okay, fine. So let's say we got a new file. Open up this thingy. Yeah, we have that. Can we do the formatting? I think how do we do the formatting? It just it do the roundup first. So that's in this round. Let's just try that. Add the function to the thingy, to the return. Yeah, save it. Run the file. Yeah, I round it to the integers. Round, have to specify how many digits you want to keep. That's why I got round up. You can just round it up. That round up by default round to the integers. So this way we'll keep 2 decimals. 2 decimals, file, yep, 2 decimals. Great, I think that's step 3. So, okay, that's it. And homework-wise, no new questions. Just try the step 1 to 3 on your computer. See if you can make it work. All right. Yeah, great. That's the end of the class. Very glad to have you. If you have any questions, email me. And yeah, enjoy. Have a good weekend. Stop recording.